Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole giving you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Now, if I can be honest, y'all, I was avoiding this documentary. I think I've even mentioned that. I was avoiding it because it is quite triggering for me. So we're going to have a very honest conversation. I mean, we always have honest conversations, but this is going to be a triggering conversation. So just in case, trigger warning, trigger warning. Hey Nini, hey Nivea, hey. So I am hoping you guys have watched the documentary or have heard of it. I actually watched episodes 1 through 3. And before this live, I was in episode 4. And it's so crazy because I literally was saying this when I was watching episodes 1 through 3. And then they confirmed what I'm going to talk about halfway in episode 4. Wow. With that being said, for those, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows who Wendy Williams is. I've known Wendy Williams since she was on WBLS in New York. I have definitely known about her for quite some time before she even got on television. She definitely was that girl. Without Wendy Williams, there would be none of these gossip blogs, these urban gossip blogs, none of these urban, tea spillers, wine spillers, me giving my commentary and my opinion on celebrities. There would be no me having a YouTube channel. If it was not for Wendy Williams, none of us, especially Black women, would be here giving our opinions on things. She is truly the empress of radio and television when it comes to celebrity gossip and hot topics. So I know people have different opinions on her. I've never been caught in Wendy Williams' fire in a sense of her running her mouth about, I guess, my personal business. So I can understand, I guess, how some may feel about her. But even with her telling people's business or gossiping about people's business, I'll be damned if anyone deserves this, because let's be clear, there are people out there who have done quite worse than Wendy Williams, and they seem to be just fine. So I am not the one to say this is her karma. So we start off with Wendy, and she keeps saying that she's not a crier. Anybody who knows Wendy Williams, she is definitely someone who will cry at the drop of a dime, especially when she talks about her past as far as her addiction to the sugar, if you know what I mean. She definitely is someone, and she's a cancer. She's a female cancer. Female cancers are very emotional. So she definitely said, I'm not a crier. And I'm like, bullshit. Anybody who's been following Wendy Williams since radio days, she cries. Okay. She is a crier. She is a very sensitive woman. And immediately, like, her face is distorted. She definitely looks different. And it's not because of age. It's not because of age. Yeah, male cancers are emotional too. They handle their emotions differently though than the women though. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Male cancers are emotional too. It's so many mixed feelings every time I see her in this documentary. Yeah, and I get it. And I get it. Totally get it. And so you can tell immediately something is wrong with her. Something is wrong with her. Now, of course, we have found out that she has been diagnosed with dementia. But if I can just share my personal story, I and my family have not only dealt with people with dementia, Alzheimer's, but I've also dealt with functional, full blown alcoholics. Okay. Both dementia, Alzheimer's, full blown alcoholic. Now, The symptoms that she was showing a mixture of both, because like I said, I've dealt with both. However, I kept saying, is this her forgetting things and not knowing things? It due to the alcohol? I kept saying that because of the fact that, in my personal opinion, the way it looked, in my opinion, Wendy ain't never sober in that apartment. She is coming off in this documentary as a functional drunk, in my opinion. I've seen it before. Okay. And people who truly are functional alcoholics like that, they can go through the day and you think there may be something off, but they still can function. Hell, they can go to work, they can do certain things, but they don't remember the day. Okay. They don't remember the day. They don't remember what happened. You can ask them a question. They don't remember shit. And those were the signs that Wendy was giving me, which made me wonder, like, if she truly gave up the bottle, would we get the Wendy that we once knew? Okay. Wendy Williams, you guys know, very intelligent, very sharp, quick on her feet. I wonder, if she truly gave up the alcohol, would she be the same Wendy Williams? Hey Shayla, hey Denise. Um, Her ex-husband, close friend, really needs to put her in a happy place away from media. No, her ex-husband don't need to do shit. Sorry, Divya. Her ex-husband don't need to do a damn thing. And we're going to get into that. Her ex-husband, like, when I tell you, it was a domino effect, in my opinion, in this situation, from her husband to her mother, and also the big, see that happen. I think she's coming off of course, we clearly see a functional alcoholic with depression and so many other things that's going on. But her husband is, in my opinion, is her ex-husband is a trigger for her. She definitely, that needs to be separated. That definitely needs to be separated as far as that is concerned. Although, from my understanding, for a very long time, I have been told, and I'm gonna have to say allegedly, she's known for quite some time that her ex-husband was cheating, whether it was the female he had a baby with, or even other females. She's known for years. The final breaking point, though, was the baby, because there's no way you can hide at that point. Like, him having a baby, you cannot continue to make it seem like everything is rosy when there's a baby outside of your marriage. But yeah, he definitely, Wendy Williams, and her desire, even though she is not in a healthy state, to go back on TV is for a variety of reasons. Wendy only, in my opinion, felt her self-worth and self-love. She only felt that worth when she was doing radio and TV. Wendy admits she's had insecurity problems. She was a chunky girl, such as myself, who did a lot of stuff to make sure she stayed thin. Okay, she talks about this. She's very open about it. So, in my opinion, she definitely, when she got fame and notoriety for radio and TV, that became her self-esteem. That became, like, her everything. And without it, she feels like she has nothing. Now she doesn't have a husband, and her son is literally thousands of miles away from her. But my thing is this, another thing is that she not only has enablers that she pays around her, in my opinion. Another reason why I said, is this induced by alcohol, is because people who have dementia and Alzheimer's, I've never seen them function in a way of manipulation. She was manipulating the hell out of people, in my opinion, from what we saw in that documentary. And she was very aware that she had yes people around her, in my opinion, which is why, to a certain extent, she, in my opinion, doesn't want to be around her family, because she knows they're going to try to hold her accountable and, I guess, in her mind, nag her about her drinking. So literally, I think when she started, especially with that damn publicist, who was, in my opinion, completely out of line. With that publicist, I said, Wendy is manipulating the hell out of these people. She really is. Let me see what you guys are saying. She definitely would be better if she stopped drinking. Yeah, the problem is I don't know if she can put the bottle down. I don't know if she's that far gone where she can't put the bottle down. If she put the bottle down, it would be a whole different person. I'm thinking so too. You think he could just come in as support, just knowing she has dementia, and she told Black China her name is Wendy Hunter. I think she does need genuine love. But Nivi, you actually think that her ex-husband is the example of genuine love? Like, I don't know how much you know their story, but the problem is, this is why I said trust no one, including Wendy, because I feel like Wendy is manipulating in this situation because she's an addict. You know what I mean? She is a recovering sugar addict. At the same time, we clearly see that she has an issue with alcohol. And I guess I should say allegedly she's an addict. I don't know if they've officially, but she has been in rehab centers. But I personally feel like Wendy hasn't really had a lot of people around her there for the right reasons. And we may have to include family in that. Because, and again, a lot of this is triggering for me because I also know and have seen family members be completely isolated out of a family member's finances because the court really didn't trust even the family members either. I've seen that personally. So when all of this stuff, when they were talking, I said, damn, this is triggering, because I'm like, I understand all of this stuff. If they truly don't think that family members have their best interest, that person's best interest at heart, or they could possibly be taking money from her as well, absolutely, the court will shut it down completely. They will shut it down completely. So that's why I said, who can she really trust? Where is the genuine love coming from? Because let them tell it. You know what I'm saying? Let them tell it. They question her son too, allegedly taking money from her without her knowing. So this is sad. This is a problem. But at the same time, I think if she put the bottle down, Wendy would get a lot of what we know Wendy Williams to be. She would get it back, unless it's too far gone. We don't really know to what extent how much she drinks. We don't know how long it's been. And to be quite honest, the way that they were talking, I don't know if we've ever experienced Wendy not being a functional addict, because the way that they were talking made it seem like that ex-husband of hers made sure that he got her up and she was sober or ready to go to work, as if she's always had this codependency and someone had to be there to make sure she stayed on track. Did y'all get that? Because I felt like the way that they were talking, I was like, well, damn. Is it one of those things where we really don't know what Wendy was doing behind the scenes this whole entire time? Because at one point she did say she was sober, but do we really know? Do we really know? Yeah, whoever is around her should not be letting her drink, knowing she has a disease dealing with the brain dementia and Alzheimer's makes the person totally different. I think when we're watching this documentary, and I'm just talking about 1 through 3 and some of 4, I guess, because In 4, they actually say that her dementia is alcohol induced. And that's what I was getting when I was watching. I said, I feel like her dementia is due to the alcohol, especially they said that they found her unresponsive at one point. We don't know what was going on with, as far as the function of her brain. Was there oxygen getting to her brain? We don't know what happened in that situation, because of course they're not going to tell us. But I don't think they knew what was going on with her. But I'll tell you this, I don't know if anybody definitely knows someone or several people who've had dementia and Alzheimer's, especially loved ones and family members, because it's absolutely heartbreaking, because it is the most devastating feeling that someone that you absolutely love doesn't even know who you are, doesn't know your name. It's absolutely devastating. But I was gonna say, I'm sorry. Let me see what you guys are saying. The court system seems more worried about her money and not her well-being. Little Kevin loves his mom, and Wendy loves him. Her face lit up every time she saw him or talked about him. Yes, yes, because of course, the story is how long, it took for her to get pregnant. She has several miscarriages. I don't know if I could say that with the algorithm, but she has several miscarriages. So due to that, absolutely. At the same time though, it seems to me, based on what I'm seeing, when they want to put her in a facility, that guardian is making sure that she's placed in a facility. I think the issue is someone financially does have to make sure she don't run out of money and people don't spend her money on crazy stuff, especially her. You know what I mean? So I think that's the thing. But anytime she wants to be placed in a facility, they're saying she's being placed in a facility. So that tells me that the guardian or someone is making sure that she has the money to be placed in facilities when she's ready to be placed in facilities. The problem is that Wendy Williams, before the Wendy Williams that we knew, was already very, I'm my own woman. I'm gonna do what the hell I want. On top of that, her drinking, I can't even imagine. Because let me tell you something, I was drained as hell watching these 3 episodes. I was drained. I was like, oh my gosh. And that's when I said, now people with dementia and Alzheimer's, they can get aggressive. They can get aggressive. I've had several loved ones, but my grandfather in particular, one of my grandfathers was very mild. He was definitely the type that he didn't rock the boat. He was definitely quiet. You would barely know that he was in the room. When he ended up getting dementia, Alzheimer's, when I tell you, you would thought he was a part of NWA. He was cussing and fussing and F-bombs and B's and all of this stuff. Never heard him in my life talk like that. But that disease definitely did that to him. I saw some of that in Wendy, but I also saw that she is addicted, in my opinion. Therefore, she is doing whatever she can for people to leave her alone so she can just be with herself in her bottle at home, or not even and you know what I mean, like she was having withdrawals. That to me was the both things that I saw. Hey Joseph, I saw the fact that she would try to push people away so she can be at home by herself and no one can hold her accountable with what she's putting in her body, and then at the same time having withdrawals because we don't know how often she was drinking in that house, where literally maybe even after an hour of not drinking, she having withdrawals because she needs to put some more liquor in her system. You know what I mean? I agree with guarding over finances, but they're out of line, not allowing her family to have access to her. Now, that's okay. Help me clarify. Did they say that the family can't have access to her? Or is it that Wendy don't really want them to have access to her? Because and I was watching part of episode 4, and I'm gonna try to do this in 3 parts. They were saying they wanted her to stay. They wanted her to stay. She insisted about going back to New York. So it is the guardian keeping her away from her family, or she is keeping herself away from family because she knows they're going to be on her about what she puts in her mouth. That's what made me question it. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I do not know if there is some paperwork that pretty much tells the guardian is saying she can't be around her family. You know what I mean? Like that, I don't know. And I think, of course, the family naturally, they all live in Florida. So, they can't all stay in her apartment. The courts forced them to bring her back to New York, or Kevin. Oh, okay. All right. So now, as far as that is concerned, I don't know if, again, they're concerned about someone when it comes to the family. We don't, the crazy part about it is, you guys, we really don't know. You would hope that everyone in the family has her best interest. You would hope. But we really don't know. We really don't know. And we really don't know how much that ex-husband of hers still has a hold of certain people in her family. We don't know. And pause on this guy, Will, who's her manager. Hey, Ozzy, pause on this guy who is her manager, and please hit the like button on the way in. Will. And I was just like, because Wendy ain't never been the best when it comes to men around her. She's, in my opinion, never been the best as far as picking the right men around her. But to me, he came out of nowhere. I was like, who the hell is he? But then I want to say maybe episode 3 or 4, little Kev said that he's a jeweler. He sells jewelry. Did I hear that correctly? Did I hear that correctly? That he sells jewelry? How, you sell jewelry? What the hell are you doing being a manager for Wendy Williams? And see, this is another example that gives me vibes of, Monique and her daddy. What kind of experience do you have really doing this job? I could have sworn little Kevin, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I could have sworn little Kev said that he's a jeweler. He actually sells jewelry. So why is he the manager? I don't know. He was Wendy's jeweler and they were friends. Okay. Okay. Yeah, a conflict of interest, in my opinion. A conflict of interest, in my opinion. She used to be on Channel 5. It's like, I just honestly, I question everyone, because here's the problem. She has all of these people around her who are getting paid by her estate. So to a certain extent, a lot of them are going to just tolerate and deal with certain things because they need the check. And I don't see how, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where his qualifications are. And while she's sitting up there talking about she trying to get back on TV, he's like, oh, that's easy. No, the hell it ain't. It's not easy. And I understand that he not trying to, rock the boat or piss her off, because we clearly see she gets pissed off very easily. But I don't know about him, y'all. And that's my opinion. I do not know about him. And once Kev said that he was a jeweler, I said, then what the hell is going on here? Like, what is going on here? If I was Wendy's close family member, it wouldn't matter what Wendy wants, because I'd be like, sis, you come in, live with me so I can keep an eye on you and you be safe. Well, apparently, let Nene tell it, when she was in Miami, the guardians told them that they was forced to bring her back to New York. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Okay, now I'm starting to think, Ozzy, that you a troll. Seriously? Let me get this out of here. Ain't nobody got time for that. With that being said, yeah, so I don't necessarily know. Yeah, I don't know about this whole situation. There may be a leech or two in her family. There may be. You know what I mean? We really don't know. You know, when it comes to the top person being the money maker and the sole provider for a lot of people in the family, you just never know. And especially when you really think about it, all of the people who came from families and that one person who became like the big star, the biggest star, they definitely at a certain point they isolated themselves. Michael Jackson is one of those examples, the biggest one in the Jackson's family, and he isolated himself. He even felt like he couldn't even trust family members. So, you know, it gets to a point where I'm starting to think, you know, sometimes that just comes with the territory. Unfortunately, let me see. I could never work for Wendy. The way she talked to them, no ma'am. And again, that can happen with dementia and Alzheimer's. It can. But to me, the way that she was responding and how when she got home, she would sometimes like be up and down. I was just like, yeah, that's signs that can be signs of dementia and Alzheimer's, but I also feel like that was withdrawal signs too. And her trying to manipulate the situation, in my opinion, so people could leave her alone. Like it's so easy to call someone a dumbass. Are you stupid? So they could say F you and get out of your house so you can be alone and you and the bottle can be by yourself. You know what I mean? Like that can definitely be one of those things. But it's a sad situation, you know, and there are people who never get back to, you know what I'm saying, who they were before. This publicist though, out of pocket. This publicist, in my opinion, was enabling her ass off. No way in hell. I could not believe she decided to just up and take Wendy to LA without anyone knowing and literally was just pretty much being a yes ma'am. She was pretty much being a yes ma'am, point blank, period. I could not believe that. And I'm sure she knows to a certain extent there are certain protocols where she at least needs to tell the manager or the guardian. And the fact that she did that, I was just like, girl, like you not being smart at all. But and as much as she claimed she wasn't trying to take Will's position, she low key said in that car, well, I am doing managerial work. She said that. So this is why I said, like, I don't I'm like, no, 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 no. Like at this point, like I don't know who you can trust around Wendy. Because you can't really even trust Wendy because we clearly saw just in these first 3 episodes, she will manipulate. She's a manipulator. She saw that this publicist was trying to do anything she can to stay on her good graces. She's paying the publicist. So she took advantage of that situation, acted erratic and everything else to try to get out of LA to make sure that Will or no one else knew where she went. Let me see. Especially when Wendy called that nail tech stupid. She knew she was wrong and obviously regretting it right after, but it was already too late. Yeah, and she called the publicist a dumbass. Remember when she was in the closet and they I guess was trying to figure out what they were gonna sell and stuff, and she was like, dumbass. Yeah, yeah. When Will asked Wendy who she went to LA and Wendy said the black girl, yeah, like there are definitely, because I'm not gonna even lie to you guys, like especially like in the beginning when someone has dementia, there are certain things that they do and say that is so awkward it will make you chuckle. There was definitely some moments like that when it came to Wendy, but then there was moments that I was just like the tears was flowing because I was just like, this is a sad situation. Wendy is not even, how old is Wendy? Wendy was born in what, like 63, 64? Wendy is not even 60 yet. I want to say she's not even 60 yet. My mind, I think I want to say she was born in 64. She's not even 60 yet, you guys. She's not. And this is sad. And like when I was watching episode 4, she's talking to her father and she looks just like her father, just like that man. It breaks your heart because her father is in his 80s plus, and he's more in his right mind than his own daughter. And I know it had to be heartbreaking for him. And Alex, her niece, she definitely, well, you know what, low key, the way Alex responded to whatever that publicist's name is, Stacy, I think is her name, I would have did the same thing. She was low key shading her and being kind of rude to her, but at the same time, if you around my family member and I'm already feeling like people are taking advantage of you and I don't know who the hell you are, I'm a low key look at you crazy too. And she was like, you ain't gonna sit up there. You think you gonna sit up there and question me or talk to me when it comes to my aunt? She was definitely going in. She was going in. I do feel like though, I don't know if she's ever been around addicts or people with dementia before, but you can definitely tell there was too many times already where she's like, I just want to have this honest conversation with you. Alex, baby, she gone right now. She ain't trying to hear that. She's just not trying to hear it. I know that you trying to keep it real, but you're just triggering her to be annoyed. And it's one of those things where she was like, well, I just, you taught me this is how I am, and I'm gonna be honest with you. She ain't hearing you. She's not. Like, she's not. And I know it has to hurt, but you got to understand that Wendy is not going to be able to get help until Wendy wants help. That's just even with the sugar addiction that she had. Until she's ready to get help, she's not she's not gonna do anything. She wants to be by herself with that bottle. Unfortunately, yeah, those diseases definitely makes the person have no filter. Correct. Trust me. I definitely know. She's 59. Yeah, I think I want to say she turned 60 this year. I want to say she's a 64 baby. I want to, and you know what? And what's so crazy is I have people I know who went to the Wendy Williams show. I want to say when I was still living in New York, the Wendy Williams show was just getting started or was in a couple of seasons. And I always wanted to go and I never did, but people always kept telling me it was such a great time. Like that was truly a great show to go to. And I just imagine her continuing that show, celebrating her 60th birthday on the show. It is just a sad situation where this has gone, and because of just so many things that has happened to her. But this is also a lesson in self-love and self-value. And she's mentioned her insecurities, like hence why she constantly got plastic surgery too. She never wanted to be that big girl again. You know what I'm saying? She always wanted to be famous. She always wanted to be that it girl. And, once she lost it, she literally had nothing left. That's the way it's coming across. She had nothing left. And so because of that, with a mixture of what happened to her publicly as far as her ex-husband is concerned and his mistress, and then her mom, like all of that happened to her. It's sad, you guys. What do you guys think? Like, do you feel like she can? Because remember, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when we first started hearing that there was something going on with Wendy, when we first started hearing about this, remember people thought that she was faking it just so Big Kevin wouldn't get paid? I don't know if y'all heard that. I'm sure you guys did, because that was the big rumor that allegedly she was doing all of this because, of course, if she wasn't working, Big Kev couldn't get any money. So a lot of people thought that this was strategic on her part to actually do this. So then that way she could dry him out, because she truly was the breadwinner in the situation. So a lot of people thought that, but then as time went on, like I said, her whole face has changed. Her, you know what I'm saying? She is a lot skinnier. Like when I was looking at her, she's always had those, big eyes, in my opinion. Well, at least the older she's gotten, because she has, what is it, Graves' disease. If that's what it is, right? I think she said she has Graves' disease, but literally, like, she doesn't look healthy. She doesn't look healthy. Wendy was always very pretty to me, but I think due to her being messy over the years, people looked past that and started with the she's a man jokes. Yeah, especially because she started the whole "how you doing" and was calling people out in the industry that she claimed was gay, or down low. Remember, she was the main one who started that. So yeah, I mean, Wendy has almost gotten beat up. You know what I'm saying? Jumped by people before. She's definitely, you know what I'm saying? She was that girl that people love to listen to but hate at the same time. She definitely was that girl. I thought she wasn't. If that were the case, I wasn't mad at her. Yeah, a lot of people was thinking that. A lot of people was thinking that, but now ain't enough acting in the world to convince me like her whole face, everything has changed. Everything has changed. Is Big Kev and the Mistress together? I heard that oh, look, Nene already responded to it. Yeah, I heard that she left once that money dried up. I heard she left when that money dried up. So that tells you right then and there, allegedly, that's what happened. She took her and that baby and left him, allegedly, once that money dried up. So, you know what I mean? Like, so that clearly shows you what she was in it for, and hell, what he was in it for. Like, let's just keep it real on that one. But yeah, like, and what's so interesting? I find that to be there's a lot of people in the industry that are like that. Even on social media, they find their value and their worth through people liking them. They find their value in their worth of their popularity. They find their value and their worth of, being good, what I'm saying, at, people liking them or people laughing with them. And I think that's a Wendy situation. Wendy truly was that girl. She was a bigger girl. She said she was teased. She, what I'm saying? She said, she wasn't that it girl. She gets on TV, she gets on radio, she becomes that it girl. And I truly think she went from one addiction to another, in my opinion. She went from one addiction to another because fame in itself is an addiction. It's an addiction. And one thing, even with her being intoxicated, that she kept saying she needs to get back on TV and she likes the fame. She likes people. She wants the fame. She wants that TV. And that damn publicist, to have her go to a meeting in that state, she went to apparently a meeting after having Grey Goose and went to that meeting. I'm really trying to figure out this publicist, what the hell was, there is no way in hell, because her walking in the room, I'm like, did you want clout saying that you walked in the room with Wendy Williams? Because I don't give a damn if it's Wendy Williams. If she's not in the right state of mind, doesn't that ruin your reputation as well? What little reputation you may have? Like, what the hell? She called Tupac gay. She called Q-Tip gay. All three members of the R&B group Total wanted to fight her for saying they were sleeping around with each other. Wait, put the D word, Joseph. Yeah, some of those things can't. Yeah, but yeah, no. She had a lot of people. Angie Martinez apparently had an issue with her. I mean, let's keep it real. Wendy had to leave New York at one point and go to Philly because of all of the drama that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, she definitely did. Yes, I will never forget Judge Mathis either, and the little, you know what I'm saying, little sounds they was doing, order in the court, order in the court. And Whitney, she has some classics when it came to radio. You can't deny it. She had classics. She definitely did. Hell, I think they're still on YouTube still to this day. Wendy, there, in my opinion, every single Black woman who literally, or every person, period, that has the whole gossip tea pages, or they give their commentary on celebrity gossip and news, they have to give their props to Wendy Williams. Who was doing it before Wendy? Yeah, you had the Star, and it's so crazy how she was still reading those Star magazines and stuff. You had the Stars and stuff like that, like the magazines, the tabloids, but she was truly able to take that and just make it her own. There was no one who was doing that before Wendy. No one. Oh, I didn't know you could say, yeah, these algorithms, like it triggers a lot of stuff. Like they even still trip about the big C, and I'm like, why? Like for educational purposes, why? It's not like someone is saying, it's not like, especially me, I'm saying that, something isn't true or not factual, but they get real sensitive over certain words. But yeah, like she definitely, even with her niece talking to her, she wasn't trying to hear it. She wasn't trying to hear it. But again, anybody who knows that has dealt with an addict, they're not going to hear it until they're ready to hear it. And you saying that you keeping it real with them, they're not hearing you. So to me, her approach, while I know it definitely seemed like it was in a genuine place, to me it was coming off like she was kind of pushing her aunt further away, in my opinion. Because even in episode 4, I still haven't watched the rest of it, but in episode 4, she was talking to her aunt, and Wendy was like, yes, I know. How about you go watch TV somewhere else? Like she was getting pissed off, like pretty much telling her to get the step in and get the hell up out of my hotel room. Now, as far as Kev is concerned, little Kev, apparently, remember the story about him being in this multi-million dollar condo, if I'm not mistaken, and apparently this condo was signed off on. Y'all like remember the story? Like apparently this condo, he got this condo when his mom wasn't well. So it is it if you guys kind of remember the story, that was kind of the backstory, that his mom wasn't well, but yet he was in this multi-million dollar condo. What are y'all feelings on that? What are y'all feelings on that? Because I remember when that story came out and he wrote some type of letter to, the guardianship or the court saying, my mom wanted me to have this or whatever the case may be. But I guess during the timeline, they were saying that in her state, it was, I guess they were trying to allege that it wasn't possible. That's what they were trying to allege. What do you guys think about that? And furthermore, do you feel like his father is in the background still manipulating situations? Because I'm sure he still has a connection with his father. What do y'all think? Let me know, because I'm kind of curious on what you guys think about that. Because again, he's still a child. Yes, he's an adult, but I mean, he's probably been the type of kid that has always had, his mom shower him with gifts and whatever he wants. I'm sure, what I'm saying, like he wanted to keep that gravy train going because he's pretty much his whole life has had his mom as the Wendy Williams who had money coming in. So, I'm sure at a certain point he was like, hold up, what do you mean I can't have access to the luxury stuff? What do you mean I can't have access to it? But yeah, the fact that condo situation that came up, I think that's when a lot of people were saying like maybe he also can't be someone who can be in control of the finances. Like I think that may be the case, because apparently the condo is like $2 million. Oh yeah, because he was almost evicted, or he did get evicted from the condo because they cut him off to pay that monthly either rent or mortgage, whatever it was. But they evicted him from there. Now, we don't necessarily know because we don't know the right state of mind she's been in the right state of mind. We don't know, but the fact that that's a $2 million condo and you just in college, I don't know. I think that's why, to a certain extent, they probably, in my opinion, they probably cut off the family altogether because they didn't know who to trust. I read in Angie Martinez that she hit Wendy after she talked about Q-Tip being gay because they were dating at the time and got herself suspended. She even had people at her job wanting to fight her. There's so many stories when it comes to Wendy Williams. There are so many stories when it comes to Wendy Williams. Like seriously, yes, and she wrote books and all that on top of that too. I feel like he grew up rich. I don't think little Kevin has realistic view when it comes to money. I don't think he was doing anything malicious. Is it malicious for a child who has been able to have access to their parents' money to still feel like they can have access to it even if their parent isn't well? Let's think about it. Is it malicious? He is 21, 20 something years old at this time. Maybe he was like in his teens or, 20. Is it malicious that you have always had access to your mom's money and your mom is not doing well, that you still don't feel like and may possibly feel like you are entitled to have access to it? You know? Like, is that malicious? Hey man, side note, little Kev favors Wendy so much in the face down to the smile. Yeah, he does. He favors his grandfather too, who in my opinion, Wendy looks just like her father. Does she have a financial advisor? I would think so. Yeah, I think the financial advisor or guardian or whoever is the one who shut it down. Um, all this really falls back on Kevin being her manager and not having things set up properly. He was too busy cheating. He was too busy thinking, more than likely, allegedly, in my opinion, that he was always going to have access. And honestly, look, had that kid never been conceived, would we still be seeing a in public functional relationship between Wendy and Kev? I think the baby is what was the straw that broke the camel's back. It's not malicious, but he definitely hopefully needs to see the reality and things and set up and get his hustle on. I agree. I agree. I don't necessarily know if it's malicious that a child would be like, well, I'm my mom's, you know what I'm saying, only child. Like, of course I should have access to the money so I can live my life or whatever the case may be. However, like you said, this should be a big wake-up call that he needs to get himself together. But he may still be thinking, well, if something happens to her, I get access to everything. But he don't have access, nor does he know probably what's in her bank accounts. So for all he knows, haven't we heard this story before, that people who have famous parents and then once something happens to that parent, they end up with nothing because the parent didn't even have anything by the time something happened to them, where they by the time they were unalive. So he hopefully this is a wake-up call for him, because he can't really tap into her finances to see how much is left. He really doesn't have that access. So you would hope that he will, enterprise and get his game on, or step his game up. And then again, we don't know how much his father is still in his ear. We don't. We do not, because you're not going to be able to tell me that Big Kev is now in the mode of trying to work on his own when he literally was Wendy's manager for how many years? You know what I'm saying? Like, this man was pretty much making money off of the talent. She even said, like, in the movie that she created, she's like, I'm the talent, I'm the one who brings money in. So you mean to tell me you've been making a percentage off of her talent for all this time, and you still not trying to do whatever you can to possibly get access to what you've been having access to for 30 years? Like, I just don't see Big Kev realizing that this is over and just getting up and getting a regular job. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I don't. But again, that's my opinion. I don't see it though. But yeah, you guys, it definitely, the tears was flowing. The tears were flowing. You hate to see it. And again, I don't want to look at this as karma. Like, I don't, because what Wendy has done, and yes, there are certain things that Wendy has said that definitely gave shock value and everything else. But let's be clear. What's the difference between a Wendy Williams, or what's the guy's name? What's the guy's name that's on the radio that's a shock jock? What is his damn name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. He been around for years. What is that guy's name? He's a white guy. He's a shock jock. What's the difference between him and Wendy? There are people who have definitely been like the star. Yes, Howard Stern. Thank you. There have been people who have been gossiping about celebrities for years, magazines and everything else. There are people who have done evil deeds for years. So the fact that people are like, ha ha ha, Wendy, this is your karma. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I can't. Even people that I don't care for in this state that we see Wendy in, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Like, she definitely has taken a deep dive. And what's so crazy is that, you know, she already had a deep dive at one point with her sugar addiction. So it's, I don't know. I don't know. It really makes me wonder, all this time that we saw Wendy working, was there something going on behind the scenes where this whole entire time she was still a functional addict? I don't know. It really makes me wonder if Big Kevin did everything he could to babysit her habits to make sure that she stayed on top of her work. And then once he disappeared with his mistress, she fell apart. She may have truly had that codependent, I'm saying, type of personality where without that man, she would not have been able to function. All my kids know that after 18 or whenever they finish school, they need to find a way themselves. I'll always be there, but I'm not raising grown-ups. Luckily, so far, my kids do what they got to do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Howard Stern. Tokyo Tony says she turned up with Wendy a couple of times and Wendy got lit allegedly. Now, what you mean by lit? Like sugar for the boogers lit is what you saying? Look, honestly, the way that we're seeing her, I mean, that's a rumor, but to me, the way that they're coming off in this documentary, we don't know what was going on. For all we know, she could have been having these issues for years and she was able to hide it well because Kevin made sure that she got up and did her job so they can make their money. You know what I mean? So we don't really know. We don't really know. And the fact that you remember, anytime she started talking about her addiction to that sugar, she would start crying. And so that told me that she was in a very deep, dark place when she was on that. But then it's like, shoot, well, did you go from one thing to the other or did you continue? We really don't know. We really don't know. And it could be that once Big Kev left, we really are seeing what we just never saw that was going on behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like we really could be seeing that this is what they were dealing with for so long behind the scenes, but it was just hidden well. We don't know. We really don't know. Yep, that's allegedly. That's allegedly, but we really don't know. I do think Big Kev is still around talking to his son and advising him. I remember the condo incident. I think he's used to a certain lifestyle. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And when you are the one who truly makes the money and makes the millions, without Wendy, that comfortable lifestyle is gone. That comfortable lifestyle is gone. And I'm sure little Kev has been a spoiled kid his whole life, especially because his mom, it took so much for her to finally have a child. She probably truly has had a mentality where I don't care if you 40 and I'm still alive. If this is what you want, I'm gonna pay for it and I'm gonna take care of you. So I don't put it past. I don't put it past little Kev to feel like his mom made it seem like she will always be there to, have her wallet ready and available. because again, it took her, she's talked about that story so many times. It took her so long to finally have a baby. So much so that I think on the Wendy Williams show, she said at one point she had almost given up, that she was about to just, I guess, divorce or leave Big Kev so he can have a child, because she wasn't able to, carry a child. So it's sad, you guys. It's a sad situation. It was triggering for me. It made me uncomfortable. At the same time, Wendy, in my opinion, was definitely manipulating the hell out of those people, because everybody around her right now gets paid because of her. So she truly has yes people around her. And while Will may be trying his best to kind of like, shut stuff down, or shut it down, he can only do so much. He can only do so much, because in a heartbeat, she was real quick to say, I'm going to fire him. So it's almost like if people don't do what they want her to do, she's like, screw y'all. You're fired. You got to go. So it's one of those things where either the guardians are really going to have to take control of her, but I don't know if any of that's going to help. I'm gonna just be honest with you guys. I don't think, and anybody who has dealt with addicts, who has dealt with, what I'm saying, people with, dementia, whatever the case may be, especially with addicts, they're going to do what they want to do. I don't care if you have every family member trying to watch them 24/7, a guardian, or whatever the case may be. They will find a way. Until they're ready, they're not going to change. And I really think that Wendy is in that state. I don't think she's hit her rock bottom yet, in her opinion. I just don't. I don't think she's hit her rock bottom. And maybe because she's still living lavish in the apartments that she's in New York, she doesn't understand that she's hit rock bottom. And maybe in her mind, because that sugar was definitely more of a dark place for her, she thinks drinking ain't that bad. But when I tell you, it looks like every single time we saw her on that documentary so far, from what I've seen, 1 through 3, and also a little bit of 4, every time we saw her, she looked like she was a functioning alcoholic. She really, really did. She literally looked like, the way that her eyes was wandering, and the way that, and I understand she has lymphoma and all of that, but to me, I was just like, oh, I've seen this before. Like, I've seen this before. She looked like she's drunk. She truly is intoxicated every time she was talking. That's the way it came off. I think the driver for Wendy was the only honest person around her when it came to him actually telling her that she has a problem with alcohol. He was fired 2 times for that because of his boldness. Yeah. Yeah, because you can tell that he also ain't trying to take her crap. Because when we first got introduced to him, and she got up in the car and she said something like, you just need to drive, or something like that, he kind of looked at the camera like, she got me messed up. Like, who the hell do she think she talking to? And he was one of the only ones who really was like, look, we done passed by the Wendy Williams show. We done passed by the studio. And she was like, drive over there again. And he's like, look, the blues you got, like, these are your blues. So yeah, he was one of the only ones who was like, I'm not about to take your crap. I'm not about to take your crap. And yes, she definitely has some memory issues. He said that the driver was like, sometimes she'll be like, who are you again? Or when the publicist was like, hey, Wendy, do you want to go to the Oscars? And she was like, what's the Oscars? So yeah, she definitely has some memory issues. But again, is the memory issues because she is intoxicated? You know what I mean? Like, she can't think right now because she truly, if she took a breathalyzer test, she would fail it miserably. Like, so this is one of those things I truly think, and again, at the end of the day, and I love this with her father, but even with her father laughing and enjoying and looking at stuff, she just seems completely out of it. But I love that scene. This is in episode 4. I did see that part with the father, but and then she lost her mom. She lost her mom, and she apparently was really close to her mom. Wendy has been through it. She's been through it. I would love to see that she can get past this. Now, wouldn't that be the story to see that through all of this, she was able to get past it and she was able to come back and be the Wendy Williams that we know? That would definitely be that victory that I think a lot of us would love to see. I just, the what I've seen so far, you guys, and how many episodes is this? How many episodes is this? I'm on midway through episode 4. I'm gonna do these, you guys, like probably every 3 or 4 episodes. I don't know how many episodes it is, but she's gonna have to be the one that's gonna take she's gonna have to take over her life and take control back. If she ever had control, it makes you wonder if she ever had control over her life, or she just had a significant other that would force the control so that money can still keep coming in. Did Wendy ever have control over her life? Did she? He said, "How are you, Wendy?" And she said, "I'm not talking to you. You're a driver. Just drive." Yeah. She said a lot of stuff that literally I was like, oh no. She was not nice at all. But that is a part of the disease of dementia and Alzheimer's. But that's also a part of people who are having withdrawals. And definitely, what I'm saying, constantly need whatever that fix is to keep them, in their opinion, level-headed, I guess, if that's the best way to put it. She definitely, it could have been, it seems like it's a mixture of both, in my opinion. But yeah, she told the nail person to shut up. She told the publicist, dumbass, and I can't even imagine what her son has gone through. Y'all think that's only people that she hires? I wouldn't put it past her to sit up there and snap on her own son like that. Like, I wouldn't. Like, in those type of situations, yeah, the children can get it too. Especially when you're dealing with someone who allegedly has an addiction. So with that being said, you guys, definitely we're going to continue the conversation in the comment section. Do you guys know how many episodes this is? I mean, yeah, like how many episodes is going to be in this documentary? Cause child, I'm like, how many more lives is there? Cause I'm on 4 now. Do you know how many episodes we have? Let me check and see. It's where is Wendy Williams documentary? How many episodes? I'm trying to figure out. Split into 4 episodes, the 4 hour. Oh, so it's only 4 episodes. So I'm literally on the last episode. There's only 4 episodes to this. Well, hell, I mean, I guess the last one, I'm literally on, it's like an hour and a half. Like, I'm on 54 minutes at this point, and I pretty much discussed, what I've seen so far in this episode. They said that she has alcohol-induced dementia, and her father and her child, she called her brother Little Kev. She looked at her brother and said she thought that was her son. She thought that was her son. Yeah, I know it's a limited series, Joseph, but for some reason I thought it was going to be more than 4 episodes. I don't know. I feel like maybe it was going to be like 6, not just 4. This is pretty easy if that's the case. So I may honestly do a pre-recorded video for the last part on it, but I don't think I missed anything. All I know is that this was damn depressing. And Black China, God bless Black China, because I will say this, Black China, well, she don't even like to go by Black China anymore, right? I don't think she does, but I'm gonna call her Black China. She came to visit Wendy, and she has even had her issues with Wendy. She's had her issues with Wendy. But she said, look, like, it's over, it's done. And she was like, if you need me, like, you could tell she truly cares for Wendy. And Wendy said at dinner with Will, she was like, I don't have friends and I don't have people, who care about me. And that was so sad to hear. But I think she does. I think she really does have people who care. The question is, do they get access to her? Can they have access to her? And then at the same time, are some of them so saddened by what they see her, what she's going through right now, that they can't take it? Because I know as fans, hell, a lot of us can't take it. But when she said that, I was just like, that's not true. Like, you definitely have people who care about you. The question is, though, can they have access to you? Because, like you said, Nene, if that's the case, are the courts making sure certain people don't have access to her? For all we know, maybe they have a list of the only people that can have access to Wendy. Then I actually felt bad for the publicist when Wendy was yelling at her about the vape pen. They honestly need a raise for being, yeah, they do. They do. Because let me tell you something. Let's just say, even without the alcohol, if she had dementia, Alzheimer's, or whatever, that in itself is no easy feat. Like that is difficult to deal with on a daily basis, period. Then on top of that, alcohol, yeah, yeah. It's definitely one of those things where I totally agree. They definitely need a raise. But at the same time, that publicist, in my opinion, she was out of pocket taking Wendy to LA and not letting anyone know. Out of pocket for that. That was completely insane to me. And she truly, you can tell she's doing everything she can to try to keep her job. And again, she's the publicist. So what does it look like that your publicist is talking bad about you on, you know what I'm saying, like, camera, and yet the publicist is making sure that all of the good press out there is about you? She wasn't going to say anything. That would have been her job. That would have been her job. And Wendy knows that. That's why Wendy tried to probably use her to manipulate the situation to take her to LA without anyone knowing. And she let her drink. I couldn't believe that when she had that Grey Goose. I was like, and she even looked at Wendy, but she was too afraid to say something because Wendy wanted to have a yes person around her. So yeah. It's the limited series. All right. Well, I mean, honestly, at this point, I only have 26 more minutes in. Did I miss anything? I think for the most part, I've covered everything that was really in here. Like, what's the ending of it all? Because we clearly know now she's been diagnosed with dementia. So what's the ending in all of this? Because it definitely isn't a happy ending. That's for damn sure. My great grandmother had dementia and she was mean, but she was mean before that. So can't blame it completely on dementia now that I think about it. I told you guys, one of my grandfathers, he was very passive, very quiet, didn't like to rock the boat. Total opposite of, you know what I'm saying, my grandmother that he married. Total opposite. When he ended up getting dementia, like I said, you would have thought he was in NWA. I never heard that man. I didn't even hear that man say the word hell before. But when he had that, all hell broke loose. So I've seen it. I've definitely seen it. In episode 4, they stopped filming Winnie. So at the end of it, because like I said, I'm in 54 minutes and 41 seconds. There's like 26 minutes left. So by the end of it, it's the same thing because they had to stop multiple times because of her condition has gotten worse. So I guess that's what you're saying, that they pretty much stop it again. And who the hell okayed this documentary? Have y'all thought about that? Who the hell okayed this documentary in the first place? What was the purpose of this documentary? Was the purpose of this documentary to have sympathy for her, to exploit her? What was the purpose of this documentary? Because I don't know if we necessarily needed to see Wendy in this state, in this condition. I don't know. I just don't know if we needed to see her. in this state. I am trying to figure out who, or did she decide, which in my opinion, she can't decide anything at this point because she can't have access to her money. Someone decided that this documentary can be done so she can pocket the money from the documentary or something. Who approved this? Her guardian? Who approved it? Wendy okayed the documentary. It was supposed to showcase her comeback with her podcast, but then it took a turn. Yeah. Yeah, it took a major turn. But again, if her guardian has so much control over her finances, her approving the documentary, and I'm assuming her getting paid for the documentary, wouldn't the guardian have to have access or know about it? Or was everything in cash like we clearly saw in her house, and as long as she don't put it in an account? But let Will say it, he has created a separate account for her that apparently the guardian don't know about, which I don't know if legally that was a smart idea. I don't know if legally that was smart for him to say. That was smart for him to say on the show that he has a separate account for her that isn't controlled by the guardian that she can put money in. Can't the guardian get access to that account too? See, what the hell is going on here? Like, I just don't think this was a good idea for us to see Wendy in this state. And it could cause more issues than help her, to be quite honest. The family then decided it needs to be released so they can get help with trying to get the guardianship overturned. Is that going to happen? No. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. The guardian sued to try and get it blocked from airing. I don't think this looks good. Y'all, okay, so for those who are in the chat right now, and for those who are replay gang, do y'all think this was something worthy for us to see for the purposes of her mental health, her condition? Is this something that the public needed to see? Y'all let me know. I don't think so. I mean, it made me sad that, you know what I'm saying, she's having this situation, but this is who I know. And I'm always going to remember Wendy Williams, even if she, and I hope that's not the case, if she never gets better, she's always going to be this Wendy Williams to me. She's always going to be that Wendy Williams to me. Even if this was literally just a front and she truly was that sad, lonely girl who was insecure behind closed doors, her legacy will always live forever in the impact of what she was able to do in radio and TV. No one's going to be able to take that legacy from her. No one. Well, they said it's reviewed yearly. It's up for review this year. I don't know, y'all, especially with that whole situation with little Kev being in that $2 million condo. $2 million is a little excessive, even for, Wendy Williams' son. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to give them guardianship, especially if they can prove that finances and everything else, the current guardian has been proven to be taking care of Wendy very well. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. I don't know if that's gonna happen. But honestly, it makes me wonder even more, like, why would y'all want this to be exploited? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this was a good idea, y'all. I really don't know. But I guess we're gonna see. We're gonna see. So I mean, I'll continue to watch it. I'm not gonna do another live on this though, because Nene, my girl Nene, done told me how it ended. It ended how damn near every episode damn near in this Wendy Williams series, every episode they said they had to stop filming because of her condition. Almost every episode they said, well, we got to stop filming, or she kicks them out, or whatever the case may be. So the fact that even in episode 4 towards the end it's the same thing, I'm not going to do another live or to do anything else on it. It's really sad, but I'm always gonna remember this Wendy Williams. I'm always gonna remember this Wendy. it makes me sad to see Wendy like this. I think it helps shed light on the family guardianship. I think the family wanted it to help their case. Yeah, but I get it, but at whose expense? At whose expense? When you really think about it, we've heard rumors. We may have seen certain things on her show. We've may even seen certain things in the tabloids when she's going in for dinner or whatever the case may be. But it what we heard and what we saw this series, it damn sure does not make her look good at all. So, yeah, to help their case, but at what expense when it comes to Wendy? This, I for me, because I'm old enough to know Wendy's legacy, this doesn't taint her legacy for me because I remember her on WBLS. But you can't tell me that for a lot of people looking at this could taint her legacy. So again, it seems like everybody is kind of like, focus on what's best for them and not what's best for Wendy. Cause this don't make her look good at all. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Wendy is in a facility now and she's getting better. I hope so, Nene. I truly hope so. I'm a pray for her. I really hope so. She was truly the queen of it all, the empress of it all. Like, Wendy Williams was that girl when it came to hot topics, celebrity gossip. She was that girl. She was witty. She was with it. It's just sad that within a couple of years, just everything has gone down the drain. Well, that's what the update was from Will and her sister. Okay, well, I would like to hear from Wendy, but again, I don't know if I want to hear from Wendy either. I do truly hope though that she is doing better. I do. And I hope she can get back on her feet. She may not have the Wendy Williams TV show anymore, but I would love to hear her on a podcast or radio. I would love to hear her on a podcast or radio. That was her first love and her bread and butter. I would love to hear her on a podcast or radio. If she can get back to it, I'll listen to it. I'll listen to it all day, every damn day. So with that being said, you guys, as usual, I appreciate you guys coming to the live to review Wendy Williams documentary. Where is Wendy Williams? It's sad, you guys. I like I said, I shedded some tears. It was very uncomfortable to watch. It really was. Wendy paved the way for celebrity gossip. A lot of stories. She was right. She was, yes. You better preach. Say that, Denise. Like, and people don't want to give her credit. She's forever that girl. Even if she gave negative stories about people, those negative stories a lot of the time help people be relevant again. Let's just call it what the hell it is. She made people relevant, and then people who literally we hadn't heard from, if she heard something about them, she made them relevant again. She will forever be that girl when it comes to celebrity gossip. No one has done it better than her. And to me, she still didn't get paid her just due, because I think somebody at one point did compare her to what she got paid versus a Howard Stern. As a Black woman, she didn't get paid probably the amount of money that she should have gotten paid for what she was able to do when this industry. There was no lane before Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams created the lane. She created the lane for all these people to be behind her. She did. She created that lane. So it's a sad situation. I really felt like they should have kept this documentary to their damn selves. We already knew something was going on. But, it's almost like we're watching Intervention. But do we really want to watch Intervention with the A-list celebrity that we loved watching every day? No. I mean, I heard a lot of celebrities that I loved growing up had issues with addiction and things like that. I damn sure didn't want to see it on TV in a documentary, though. That would have traumatized me. So they claim it's to help their case. We'll see what happens. What I do know is this, and I'm going to leave on this note. I want what's best for Wendy, whatever that is. That's the only person at this point I'm really concerned about. I want what's best for her. So that's going to be my prayer for her, that whatever is in God's will and what is best for her, it will be done. Not what's best for her family, not what's best with her manager, her publicist, her guardian. That God protects Wendy Williams and what is best for her. He protects her, and she comes from out of this. She gets back into the light, if she ever was in the light. I truly want her to find happiness. I truly do. True happiness, true self-love. That's what I want for Wendy Williams. I want what's best for her. And if that means that she has to give up the TV, the radio, and we can't have that entertainment anymore for her to find herself and to find that light for her, I'm all for it. We got enough Wendy Williams for 30 plus years that we will be able to enjoy generation after generation. If she has to give it up to truly find self-love and find the light in herself and live a happy, healthy life, I'm all for it. Even if that means we won't be entertained anymore with new stuff, I'm all for it, because it's about now Wendy Williams, the person. And that's who I'm concerned about. But on that note, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. Toodles.